Find out what there is to know about buying a pair of snowshoes.
Some of the things that you want to look for when you're looking at a new pair of snowshoes is what you're going to be using them for. If you're going to be out breaking trail in the soft snow, you're going to want to go with a larger size, and so you have more flotation. If you're going to be walking on trails mostly, you can go with a little bit smaller shoe, which is easier to maneuver, and you don't have to worry as much about the flotation. Some of the features on snowshoes these days are the binders. There's many different styles. This binder actually pivots on a pivot point, so that allows the shoe, the tail of the shoe, to drop down as you're walking and the snow will slide off the deck. This particular model also has a heel lift on it, which keeps your foot flatter if you're climbing real steep hills, if you're going to be walking on the flat. It's easy to fold that back down. Another thing to consider is the type of binder on how easy it is to get on and off. This particular one is real simple. There's a quick release on the top. If you're going to put your foot in it, once you get the boot size, if it's the same boot all the time, you set the back to what size you want around the back. And if you've got that all set, the next time you go to put them on, it's just a matter of bending over, putting that down, giving it a little tug, and you're all set to go. You're ready to go. When you want to take it off, one button, quick release, and it's out. There's a lot of more traditional style bindings that are a little more difficult to get on because you have to loosen these all up as you're going to put them on. It takes quite a bit more effort to get your foot into them. Most of the aluminum ones come with the metal crampon on the bottom, and that keeps you from sliding down the hill when you're walking downhill, and also keeps you from sliding backwards when you're climbing the hill. The webbing on the older style wood shoes with the weaving on them does allow a little bit of snow to come up through the deck, so it does prevent you from sliding somewhat, gives you some traction that way. The basic thing to look at is the size of the shoe, and it's generally dependent on your weight. This particular shoe here is a 25-inch, and the chart that comes with the shoe says that this would be good for a user weight of 120 pounds up to 200 pounds. But the main thing you got to remember with that is it's not only your weight, it's your weight plus the gear that you're going to be carrying. So if you got a 10-pound pair of boots on, a heavy jacket, and you're going to be taking some lunch with you in a backpack, you have to remember to add that to the weight when you're figuring out what size shoe you're going to use. Some of the newer style shoes are contoured so that as you step forward, you can walk with your feet closer together. This foot would step here. As you step forward, it fits. You don't have to walk with your feet quite as far apart, which means a lot at the end of the day. Guaranteed the first time or two that you go out for the year, you're going to come back with sore muscles that you didn't even know you had. A lot of people still prefer the traditional wood snowshoe. This is a pair of Iversons made locally in the UP. This one actually has a neoprene deck on it, which requires a little bit less maintenance on it than the rawhide. And there are many different forms, even the older ones. This is a pair of the Iversons with the pointed tail on them. They tend to track a little better when you're walking forward in a straight line. The round shoes, this is a bigger style, but the bear paws with the rounded back on them, they are easier to turn on, and you can get these turned around a little bit more than the pointed tails. The traditional shoes are mostly used, yes, for trapping because they do perform a lot quieter than the newer shoes. The newer ones, the aluminum, tend to clank a little bit, and with the pivot points on them and everything, they do make more noise than the old traditional shoes. Another thing you might want to consider if you're going to be out snowshoeing is a pair of poles. Everybody's heard of ski poles, and it's the same thing if you're out snowshoeing. This is a adjustable pair, and this basket will go on the bottom there to give you some flotation in the snow. A lot of people don't think about it, but it's just like skiing. You need to keep your balance when you're walking on snowshoes. A pair of poles will really help out, especially if you're a little bit unsteady, and if you do happen to fall, it's something that you can help you get back up out of the snow. As far as what kind of boots you need to wear for snowshoes, there isn't anything in particular that you have to have. It's just if you can get your foot into the binding. Some of the bigger Sorel style boots are rather large and they are hard to get fit into your binding. It is a very active sport and it keeps you rather warm. So you don't need a real heavy pair of boots if you're going to be out snowshoeing. Lightweight pair of boots, anything that's waterproof, keep the snow out, a little bit taller would be a good choice, but it doesn't have to be a real heavy boot to keep you warm. Just about any shop can put you in the right direction as to what will do good for you and get you out in the outdoors. That's the main thing, get you outside.